Welcome to another episode of Align. Today we have Diego Ash who's going to join us on this call. He is a creative. I have his Instagram up currently just to show some of his work. He actually is a photographer. He won't claim it, but he's actually one of the people who first got me into photography, and I just want to thank him. But before I get into that, you'll also learn that he has done many different things in his life, not all necessarily related to photography or the arts, but his journey is somewhat interesting. I'm going to say somewhat. His journey is very interesting, but he's a dear friend, and let me let him into this call. Mr. Ash, welcome to the line. How are you?
I'm doing well. Doing well.
Good to see you this fine day. I've actually kind of prepped the audience of a little bit about you. I have your Instagram up, and please, my apologies if you feel as if I've violated your privacy somehow, but it is public. So as I tell all the people who join the call, if it's there, I'm going to use it. So the questions that I have for you are just to kind of give an understanding to the viewers, just a little bit of your start, kind of what your influences are in your life. Not too deep, but just to kind of, I guess, touch base and just give them a general sense of who you are. So I'll start with the first question that I have, which is, what is your current occupation?
I'm an executive search consultant, which is a fancy way of saying that I work with companies from, as small as tech startups to very large corporations to help them find executive and very senior people within their organization.
Okay. And I guess the thing that I'm trying to get out is that you have your career path, and then you have what I guess you would say you do in your pastime. Now, and the reason why I want to bring that up is that there's a lot of people and young followers that try and get the understanding that you don't necessarily have to work full time at what you are necessarily passionate about, but there are ways that you can kind of introduce this into your work life. Would
Absolutely.
you agree? Okay.
Yeah, no, absolutely. My career path has been sort of nobody really grows up and says that they want to do what I do for a living. I think that's very, very rare, and I've never heard of that. But I got to where I got today through a matter of just various different experiences, but there have always been certain things that I've always enjoyed doing, and you're kind of looking at some of them right there on the screen.
Great. So if I were to ask, what would be something that you're passionate about doing every day that you could basically do without getting paid, or, even if you were paid, what would that one thing be?
Yeah, I think for me, at this stage in my life, the thing that I'm most passionate about is helping others, and more specifically, coaching and mentoring. I want to share with other people in whatever stage of their life that they're in, and whatever I can that may be of value to them, whether that's professionally speaking or personally speaking. I want to give back at this point in my life.
So what was one of the things, I guess, or what would be, what was your idea when you were growing up? Like when you were a kid, what did you think that you would be doing?
I thought I was going to be a professional athlete.
I guess
I thought I was going to be.
Go ahead.
No, I thought that I was going to be a professional baseball player or a professional football player. I mean, my passion when I was a kid was playing sports. I loved to play. I was always playing baseball, or I was playing any sport that I could participate in, and that's really what I thought that I was going to do up until about the time I got to high school and realized that there were kids that were better than me in both of those sports. Ironically enough, it was track that kind of paved the way for me, and while I didn't do it professionally, I got to a pretty high level.
And that high level is our alma mater, which go Trojans.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Uh, Now, I'm sure that there are several influences in your life. The ones that I want to kind of focus on right now are your parents.
Yeah.
What do your parents do for a living? I can't assume that they're not working anymore, but what were the professions that they had?
Yeah, my mother was a stay-at-home mom. I come from a pretty large family. We were six kids. I was number two, and so my mom, was a stay-at-home mom and took care of all of us kids. And my dad, he worked in agriculture, and he managed large groves throughout Southern California for various different individuals, mostly agricultural and citrus groves.
Awesome.
So yeah, I mean, I learned a hard work ethic from a very young age.
I can imagine working out in the fields. I mean, I'm sure that at some point, as all fathers or any parent brings their child to work.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I was out there from as long as I can remember, probably seven or eight, helping, and doing whatever things I could. And as I got older, I did a lot more and had more responsibility, and it was a great experience, and I wouldn't trade it for anything.
That's cool. Um, you know, you've talked about a few things in terms of your career and things that you've kind of aspired to do and like to do, but what would you say that your strengths and weaknesses are, if you could just kind of summarize that?
Strengths and weaknesses. I would say that I'm a strong communicator. I'm a very good listener. I think that I have, just growing up the way that I did, I think that I learned from a very early age to be sensitive to understand that all people are different, um, in certain ways, and we're all the same in others. But to be sensitive to all of those things, and really, I guess the word for that is, emotional intelligence. I think that I have a pretty high emotional intelligence. Um, in terms of weaknesses, kryptonite is really my weakness.
Yeah. Okay.
No, jokes aside, yeah, I think for me, um, fear of failure has been a weakness for me. It's being being afraid of failure, and as I've gotten older, I've learned to kind of come to grips with that, and not be afraid. To really just understand that, hey, with failure comes experience, and experience comes an opportunity to learn. Um, I think another thing that I continue to work on is to learn how to say no. I often tend to be a people pleaser, and yeah, and
Don't we all?
that yeah, I mean, and it just it puts me in situations that necessarily, like, I things that I just don't want to do. Um, but learning how to say no, I think, is important, for anyone.
Yeah. I can tell you can get you into trouble, especially in any type of work environment where, you don't want to tell someone no because you want to be helpful, but then you get the
Yeah,
pressure of, more workload and, just kind of get
yeah,
overwhelmed at times. And it's
exactly,
not just at
exactly.
work, it can be family, it can be anything. So that's very important. Yeah, that's something I think we all deal with. And I know I'm
Yeah,
personally dealing with a lot of times.
yeah, for sure.
I'm glad you didn't say no today to this interview.
No,
This is, I
not at
think,
all.
going to help someone in some manner. Now, speaking of which, there is a bonus question. I have a caller on the line who's going to ask it of you. So it's let's go ahead and let Dorian from Houston. Hey, Dorian, how are you?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Pretty good. Thanks for joining us on this interview on the line. I have Diego Ash. He is, well, I like to refer to him as a photographer because, as I mentioned in the beginning, he's influenced me in the work that I do, and I really appreciate it. Whether he be active or just passive at this point, doesn't matter. He's still, like I said, in my mind, a great influence. So I'm going to let you ask this question. It doesn't have to be related to what he does. This is our random bonus question.
All right. Okay. So, Diego, what role do you see yourself playing in a metaverse?
In a metaverse, I guess define metaverse first.
Just basically based off of the universe, kind of like the Matrix, in a sense where, this world in comparison to the other worlds, just where do you see yourself in this world? Like, what do you see yourself as when it comes down to like what type of let's say type of spirit, what type of essence do you think you give off in this world?
Yeah. Okay. No, great question, and thank you for clarifying for me. I, I would say light, warmth, and if I had to give myself, a character name, I'd be the helper. I think the constant throughout my life has always been not the front man or the leader, but the assist maker, and that's a role that I've been very comfortable in and continue to be, and I'm always looking for ways to help people. So I think those are the things that I think that's the role that I would play.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dorian. You can hang out, or you can go ahead and part from us for a second. I'm going to wrap everything up, but yeah, that's an interesting question, because I've kind of played with that idea, or tried to understand better now with a lot of things that are going on, the direction that we're taking, things becoming virtual, the issues that we've had with COVID, not being able to see loved ones, the concept of being able to enter a realm that is virtual, and spend time with others, almost like you're playing a video game. But I don't know how it's going to pan out to be. But I think that there's a lot of interest, or I have an interest in what this could be, or what this could mean, and I want to focus on the positive. And I would say that, having someone like yourself in this more of a virtual environment for those who may be lost would be great. I mean, you can provide that light, and that's the one thing I think that we all probably should focus on, is just trying to see how we're going to help out as times change. I know that there's a lot of issues that our children or our youth have in terms of identity, direction. And as I mentioned, this is the whole purpose of this show, is to allow those who are creatives to have a better understanding of what they can do, how they can get aligned with their true purpose. So thank you, Dorian, for that question.
No problem. Thank you.
All right.
And as a follow-up, Diego, I know that I promised the 5 questions in the bonus, but I can talk to you all day. But I think the one thing I'm really trying to get out of you is in terms of some advice, I guess, for those who at times don't feel as if their work path is congruent with what their desires, or what they thought they would be when they were when they were children. Is there any advice that you can give in parting?
Continue to do what you feel in your heart. What brings you joy and what makes you feel what you feel passionate about. Just continue to do it, and I think if you do that, you will either find a way for that to become your career, or you will find that it will bring, even if it's not your career, that it brings you happiness and joy, and hopefully the same to people around you. I think, being in the line of work that I'm in, as I mentioned, it was just kind of something that I fell into and never thought that I would be doing. and yet here I am. But yet my work does not define me. I think the person that I am and the things that are important to me and the things that I believe in, and that I have passion about are the things that define me. So keep doing those things that you love doing, and don't give up on that. Don't give up on your dream, and keep chasing it.
That's awesome. And I know I've said awesome like 15 million times, but no, it's great because I know that time is limited here. And I don't want to hold you past what I promised, but
I'm good.
I really, I really want to say that, and once again, to those who don't know you, you have been, I guess, more or less a rock for me, a sounding board. You served many purposes and had many hats, and have encouraged me to never give up. You've shown me a path that could be positive for me as well. And I'm not going to blow smoke up your skirt by saying thank you too many times, but thank you. But the one thing that I think that stands out in my mind the most is that amidst all the adversity, amidst all the challenges, you've never given up, and you have come close, I'm sure. You have always been positive. You've kept a smile on your face. You've kind of paved the way. I know we're close in age, but to some degree, I kind of felt like you were the older brother because our lives kind of were such that, you were married before I was, and you had the kids before I was, and, you've reached certain milestones in your life before I did. But, it's not that I've followed in your footsteps, but I have seen your wake, and I've decided that, I can make my own waves. I know that this is possible. And that has been, I think, one of the like I said, the inspirations in my life. Now, to those out there, I just say, don't give up on your dreams. And I echo that, as you said, despite where you think you should be versus where you are, you always have to be comfortable in your own skin. You have to just, pursue your passions, but also be mindful that, there's more than just you in this world. You have to be able to assist others in their journeys. And I think that that's what makes life worth living. So
Absolutely.
thank you.
Amen to that.
Well, we've reached the end of this show, and I want to say, to those who want to follow Diego, you can reach him on Instagram. I'm sure he's going to have more posts as time goes. He might not be like the guys who post every few hours, but I think when he does create a post, it is worth looking at. And then also for my own Instagram, if it's basically the same. I will post these videos periodically, so look forward to those, and I'll send you updates in the daily thread, letting you know when the next ones will be available. All right, Mr. Ash, have a good rest of your Saturday.
Great. Thank you, Chris. Thanks for having me on.
All right.
Take care.